Which university you were in Arizona and which one in Pennsylvania?
Because when you're working as a full-time employee, you are basically working, I don't know, like 9 to 5, something like that. But when you're working as a research assistant, you have to work from, I don't know, man, like 12 hours a day, 14 hours a day. That's a lot. Like, you basically don't have any time frame for your working hours.
But here they really appreciate. If you are really interested and passionate about science, research, and you have great ideas, you can just talk. You can talk to professors that you are interested, and they will definitely give the opportunity for you.
Just a heads up, if you are planning to US, you have to work a lot, okay? Just be ready for that. Take it easy, increase your level of confidence, and be respectful.
Any regrets? And if you're back, I don't know, to 2, 3 years ago, before your immigration to the US, what would you change? Hello everyone, welcome back to Smart Talks Harry. Today I'm having one of my great friends, Behrad from College Station, Texas. And he just moved, I think it's been a couple of months since he moved to Texas. So in today's conversation, we're going to talk about his journey as a student in the US, and then we're going to shift the topic to job experience. And before that, before starting the conversation with more questions, I want Behrad to introduce himself briefly to our viewers, and then I can start my questions. Welcome, Behrad.
Hey everyone. Okay. Yeah, it's Behrad. People call me Brad sometimes. That's my nickname, so feel free to call me whatever you want. I'm okay with both of them. Yeah. I moved to US almost like 2 years ago. I moved to Pennsylvania, Philadelphia first, and I was an architecture student for a program called Master of Science in Architecture and Design Research, and it was mostly about like new technologies in building industry. And after that, I moved to Arizona for like 3 months for my summer internship. That was absolutely great experience and opportunity for me. And after that, again, I moved back to Philly. I wrapped up my education, and after that, I moved to Texas since I got a new job in Texas. And here we go. I'm here for you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for
Sure,
being in our conversation today. So let's start with your first year that you came to the US. What was
sure.
kind of shocking or challenging when you moved from your country to the new world and started life as a
Yeah.
student in America? And tell us more about the details and shocking or challenging times you had in the US.
Sure. There are like a bunch of different things that I can talk about, but the main one is we Persian love Toro. It's not really well defined in US. So it's a huge difference. Like for example, when you're talking with someone and someone says no, you should not be insist and be like, oh no, come on, try it, man. No means no. And yes means yes. So just try to respect that. That was a huge difference that I noticed from the day one. And but that's really appreciated. I feel like Tarok is kind of redundant, so you can just cut it in our daily communications, and that's something that we have to learn. More than that, there's a huge difference in academic classes. Like for example, all the students in US try to show up a couple of minutes before classes starts. Like for example, if a class starts by 11 a.m., everyone try to show up by 10:55 a.m. something ish. Um, but I personally used to show up like 5 minutes after class. And I noticed that's a huge and very bad habit. So I ended up need to show up at a good time. That's something that if you are trying to move to US or like you just moved to US and you're trying to attend your classes in like a week or two, you have to be really cautious and show up at a good time because um um everyone care about that. All those professors are really consider all your lates that you have. So try to be cautious about that. And what else? Um so to be honest, people in different states are different. Like for example, when I moved to Arizona, I noticed that people are really friendly. and that was kind of shocking with me because it was the first time that I could see people are that friendly with you, and that was highly appreciated. That was the first time that I could see people are really welcoming me. I mean, uh, East Coast and West Coast are two absolutely different worlds, but that was absolutely new even to my own country. So I would say being friendly and welcoming to like foreigners is kind of that was kind of shocking for me, and that was highly appreciated though.
It's great. So far you lived in Arizona, Pennsylvania, and now in Texas, right? And can you
Yes,
in Pennsylvania and Arizona you were in a school, in universities in these two states, right?
yes,
Can you tell
exactly. I
more
mean,
about your universities? Which university you were in Arizona and which one in Pennsylvania?
the place that I went in Arizona was the summer internship, so that was a company that was not part of. I was still a student at the time, and I was spending my internship time. So it's a course that have 3 credits, so you can apply for some, I don't know, internship positions that you can go and work for like 2 or 3 months in a company and gain some internship experiences. I think that's really common between master's students that in their kind of second year, they try to find some internship position. And that just makes it easier to get a job after graduation. And I totally could understand that because once you get a job position, summer internship, it helps a lot to get a new job after graduation. But never mind. Let's just start with the university that I've been in, Philadelphia. So the university is called Thomas Jefferson University in Philadelphia, which basically has two campuses. One is Center City campus and the other one is East Falls campus. And East Falls campus was Philadelphia University until 2017. And after that, Thomas Jefferson University bought the whole Philadelphia University. So you can imagine Thomas Jefferson University is a very rich university. And that university is really famous for medical school. So I don't know if you ever heard about that, but all those medical schools in Philadelphia are really famous, and they have too many good schools for medical programs. It's UPenn, Drexel, Thomas Jefferson University, Temple, and they all have huge hospitals. Yeah, there are a bunch of different universities, but I would say those universities in Philadelphia are really famous for medical things. Yeah. Um, it was a really nice university, although it was really small. We had only like 7,000 students at the same time in our campus, and it was a really a small one. We had only like I don't know, like 15 buildings inside our campus, which is considerably lower than other universities like Texas A&M University or like Arizona State University. But that was really great because, you get a better chance to know other students and basically the staff university better so you can have a good communications with them at the same time. And yeah, that was the main thing that I kind of appreciate about the small universities. You can basically have a good communication with students, and you're gonna know like most of them after like a year. So that's kind of funny because when you're walking through the campus, like most of the students, you could be like, "Hey, how are you doing? How's your day coming along?" Basically that type of things. And you can get close and closer to the professor. So if there are any opportunities or chances to work on research projects, you can definitely nail it. So yeah, that's what I think about small universities like Thomas Jefferson University at this point. Thomas Jefferson University in Center City campus is so huge and massive, there are like thousands of students. But East Hall campus is kind of small, so yeah,
Thank you. Just in confirmation what you said, I
sure.
think one of the great advantages students have in the US is especially specifically for undergrad students. They have a lot of opportunities to come and request from huge research labs to involve in the research, to do projects for them, to get a lot of
Yeah.
publications, and build a great and perfect resume for themselves to apply for grad schools or find a great job. And that's the thing I feel can make US a little bit different than other countries, specifically our own country, Iran. And
Hmm.
that was the first that was one of the most important thing came to my mind when I started my journey as a student in the US, and I was doing grad school. So because I had kind of challenges in my country for publishing papers, collaborating with researchers, but here they really appreciate if you are really interested and passionate about science research and you have great ideas, you can just talk. You can talk to professors that you are interested, and they will definitely give the opportunity for you to just show what you can do and your passion and interest. So that
Oh
was one of the
yeah.
interesting things I really love about US.
Exactly. I remember when I was working in my second year of my program as a research assistant, we also had some undergraduate students working in our lab, which was highly appreciated. So at the same time, we had a combination of graduate students and undergraduate students. And I feel like, um, this is the way that you can transfer your experiences to undergraduate students. And also at the same time, undergraduate students are so energetic, so they can get involved into different processes that you're expecting them to get involved. And basically working together and have a good collaboration, making accompanying the progress of the project leads into accomplishing the projects very well.
Yeah, I think it's kind of win-win deal. So, because I've had 5 or 6 undergrads so far, and 2 of them now medical students in really prestigious schools. One of them doing PhD in Michigan and Harvard University, which is one of top 5 in the field. And the others, I'm
Yeah,
sure they're gonna get into medical schools in the coming year. So they helped me a
sure.
lot, and they got really good resume for themselves. So it's really paved the way for themselves for having the great future. So I think this is really
Yeah,
smart move that giving the chance for undergrads to involve in research. As you said, they
yeah. I feel
are
like,
young and yeah, yeah. Go ahead.
yeah. Absolutely. I mean, so all those research experiences are really crucial, not just for academic or like career purposes, but like more in your life because you basically understand how to do research. You basically need to do like bunch of different research even in your personal life, right? So you can understand what are like legit resources that you can get access to like research about something. And that's something that is really appreciated. And something that I notice is in US universities care a lot about research projects, and that's something that is really appreciated because you can barely see countries investing. I mean, not like barely, but there are like some few countries that are investing on those research projects, and that's really appreciated because that's how you can make progress. That's how you can make new technologies, and that's how you can basically make people's life way easier. So that's, yeah, if you're planning to like do research or like get involved into research projects, I would say US is one of the best countries that you can consider as your final destinations because they care a lot about research projects. At the same time, they have too many research projects and you can find, I don't know, some of them, just contact the advisor and just let them know that you're interested and boom, get into the projects.
Yeah, it's really straightforward. And just a hint for
Hmm.
people, undergrad students who are interested to get involved in this kind of research, you just need to email the PI. And sometimes some PIs are really busy, so you may not hear back
Hmm.
from them. So in that case, find some PhD graduate students in the lab and contact them.
Hmm.
Ask them, do you need any undergrad in your lab? And I'm interested in a specific part of your research. I checked your website, and before contacting with scholars, please check the website, read about the projects, and get information. And then you
Hmm.
can just send email and show your interest. And I'm sure you're going to get really good feedback from either PI or PhD students or even master
Yeah.
students. Yeah, that's
And I would
straightforward.
say, here's a point. If you are a student in US right now, it's a really good idea to show off at the lab and just contact those people in person, like rather than just sending an email because it's really busy. But if you show up and
Yeah,
just,
yeah,
I don't know, hand off your resume, they're definitely gonna contact you. But they at least gonna say, hey, we don't have any opportunities right now, but I will let you know if there is any opportunity coming up, or basically if we need any other researcher in our lab. So if you are currently here in US or like in your final state destination, just go ahead, show up at universities that you feel like you might find some opportunities and just let them know that you're interested. Make sure you're handing off your resume and your contact information.
yeah, yeah, definitely. Yeah, that was a great point too. Meeting in person is really important.
hmm
Because
Yeah,
when I see someone came to the lab and showed interest, I feel his or she's serious about involving the research in our lab, just instead of just
hmm
texting, as you said, or sending one email. Yeah, I think that works.
Yeah, exactly.
So
Exactly. That makes sense to me because I mean this is the way that I got my fully funded position in the second year. So I was kind of partially funded student in the first year, and in the second year I just started contacting my advisor and I was like, hey, I'm kind of looking for fully funded positions. Please let me know if there are any opportunities for that. And in the end of the first year, he just said me there is a new project that is coming up and we need someone to like fully work on this project. And I was like, okay, I'm really down for that. And how's the situation with that project? He said, that's a project about like some new material in facade systems, and that's a fully funded position. So we'll cover your general fees, tuition fees, I don't know, the insurance fee, and we will get your living expenses covered with that stipend. So like, yeah, that's a really good opportunities. So that's the key. Keep contacting, work hard and just show your skills, like basically sell your skills. And that way they will catch you.
if I am a
Sure.
person who's planning to come to the US to start my journey as a student, what are in general the points that can help students to know before coming
Mhm.
to the US?
So, first of all, if you're planning to come to US, you should expect like different cultures because it's not only you that are moving to US, people from different countries are moving to US, and even inside the US, there are different cultures and lifestyles in different states. I've been to three states, and I can tell you, every state has their own like cultures, rules, regulations. So you should expect different cultures, and you should be okay with that. That's something that you really have to consider. And the second thing that really encourages students to do is just be outgoing. Um, don't stay in your apartment all the time because I got a sense that connections in US is not the most important thing that you can have. You need to have connections with friends, with colleagues, or like basically if you're trying to get into a new job, you have to expand your connections in that field. So I would say expand your connections from day one, be outgoing, find friends, find some, I don't know, people who are working in some big companies and make contact them. That's something that I really encourage the students to do when they come to US. Um, I didn't do that basically. And I'm
my
kind of regretful
my PI
because
has a word. She says, imagine you're in an elevator and you're just suddenly meeting a businessman. You should be able, if you're living in the US and you want to be a real great person in the future, successful in case of kind of entrepreneurship stuff, you should be able to sell yourself in just 1 minute, 2 minutes time that you have in the elevator with that person, because you're gonna see that
exactly,
person just one time in your life in the elevator. And I think this is really important for people who living in the US and just looking for a great future for themselves in case of being businessmen, at least.
exactly. That's a key point. So if you're moving here, just make sure you are investing on your communication skills. some people are kind of introvert and they just prefer to stay home, not to talk to people. But I would say once you go out, you will find a bunch of different opportunities. And I would say working on your presentation skills and also communication skills helps you a lot to have an easier life, like expand or like have a better career in future. So get ready to have a good communication and also presentation skills if you're moving to US. Because something that I noticed as a huge difference between American students and international students is that American students have really good presentation and communication skills. Like that's something really, really crucial. You can come up with a perfect idea, but what if you cannot present that? No one gonna care about that, right? You have to be ready to present your ideas. If even if your idea is like average, it's like I don't know, 5 out of 10, just make sure you present it as in like 8 out of 10. That's something that is really important. Be ready for communication skills and presentation skills. That's something you have to invest in.
Yeah, I definitely agree with communication, and that's the key to
Presentation
success in the
skill.
US.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And something that I noticed in the US is there's something called short discussions, if I'm not wrong. And it's like in different occasions, if you're in airport, in a restaurant, in a bar, or in a club, there are always short discussions. Like every single time you can just say, "Hey, how are you doing? Look at that thing. That's so funny to me." Those are called short discussions, and that's kind of really common and popular in US. People always do that. So a way to improve your communication skills, I would say, is having short discussions, and people are absolutely welcome to all those short discussions.
Yeah, that's so true. So, Behrad, you did your master, and after that, what happened? Why you didn't keep studying PhD and you just changed the journey from academic life to industry? What was the reason for that?
Okay. To be honest with you, the second year was kind of overwhelming for me, working as a research assistant at the same time working my thesis. It was, um, I still appreciate that. That was a great opportunity for me. I'm not regretful of that for sure, but it was kind of overwhelming at some points. And I was kind of working like 14 hours a day, like working on my thesis and also research project. And I was more looking to calm down in my life. So I was like, okay, you have time, you can go and work for like a couple of years. And if you notice you still want to pursue your education into a PhD, you can always contact advisors and get a position. But right now, I was kind of looking for a transmission into a working in industry because that's something that I kind of like more, at least for now. Maybe I change my mind in future, God knows. But as of now, I was mainly looking for getting a full-time position, working as an architectural designer, gain more experience. And to be honest with you, something that I always had in my mind is being a kind of property developer or like a builder in US, you can millions of dollars profit. So that's why I ended up into working as an architectural designer. And the company that I'm working right now is a design build company and a builder company. So they basically design and build new houses, like residential houses. So that's why I always had in my mind to work in future to design and build my houses and put it on like rent, like market to sell stuff like that. So I ended up into moving into uh, um, to basically working as an architectural designer, and I was mainly looking for like financial aspect. To be honest with you, I'm not gonna lie. I was looking to make more money because if you're a PhD student, you still can have a good life. But once you go through working as a full-time employee, you're definitely gonna earn more, and life would be much easier. So I ended up into working as an architectural designer.
Yeah, I agree. The financial part of the story is really important. So,
That makes
uh,
a huge
Be-
difference.
So you also did internship, right? How do you see the impact of doing internship to just changing, maybe I don't know, to getting more motivated to start a job in industry instead of doing academic life? How was internship role in this journey?
Sure. I mean, internship is kind of crucial if you want to get a job after your education, because some companies say that you have to have um, experience inside the US to get this position. And once you get an internship position, basically you can understand how industry works in the US, what are those office protocols, how you have to deal with your colleagues. And that's a really valuable experience that everyone can have. And I would definitely encourage people to have internship position because I remember um, I got this position and too many other interviews just because I had one internship position in my resume. And it was kind of appreciated for all those employers because they were like, okay, you have an advantage compared to other international students that you have an internship position in your resume, which is really appreciated. And they were more like, tell us about your experience that you had in your internship. What did you learn? Like, what are those technical things that you learned? And what are those like office regulation things that you learned? Like, how was the collaboration that you had with your colleagues? They care a lot about your communication and collaboration with your colleagues in your office. So once you get an internship position, it helps you a lot and it makes life easier for you to get a full-time position after you get graduated. So I would say definitely try that if you are considering to work as an intern. Definitely go for that because that helps a lot.
Uh, I'm hearing a lot from my friends who got a job in industry. They're telling if you want to rate the stress level of academic in comparison to industry, you have a lot of pressure in your academic life as a researcher. And it can be because of financial problems you have, or kind of research is needing a lot of, it needs a lot of creativity. Do you think this is true? How you can rate the academia versus industry in case of stress level that people experience?
Yeah. So if you are working as a research assistant, basically you're exposed to tons of uh, new things, and to some extent, it makes you stressed. Um, and you definitely need to spend more time than working as a full-time employee. Because when you're working as a full-time employee, you are basically working, I don't know, like 9 to 5, something like that. But when you're working as a research assistant, you have to work from, I don't know, man, like 12 hours a day, 14 hours a day. That's a lot. Like you basically don't have any time frame for your working hours. You should basically work in during the daytime, nighttime, even if you're going for parties, I don't know, you have to take your phone or laptop or whatever and just, I don't know, work on your projects. It's kind of, stressful. Not gonna lie. And, at the same time, by end of the week, you have to present some information or like some data that you gathered during the week. And if you're short on those data, you should get ready to be playing somehow. I mean, my advisor never blamed me. He was so nice. He was one of the best person that I've seen in my life. But I heard a lot that some advisors are kind of blaming the students for not getting like tons of data, I would say, during the week. And it's kind of, I don't know, kind of overwhelming sometimes for some students because, if you're researching about something, you have to expect unexpected things that is coming up because you're basically trying new things, right? So you're never gonna know how long it's gonna take and sometimes you're getting slower and slower and you won't be productive like all the time. Sometimes you have like some family issues or like some, I don't know, maybe depressed or like I don't know if you're in a relationship that is not going well, so you have to consider all those things are affecting your performance as a researcher, and at the same time, being a researcher is so tough because you have to basically research about absolutely new things. You have to investigate on something that is not really existing, and you have to figure out how to offer a solution for that. So I would say dealing with all those challenges is to some extent stressing, at least for me.
Okay, Brad, I have my next question. I'm gonna give you some words, and I want you to tell me how do you feel about it. So,
Sure.
my first word is USA.
Best country. Yeah, that's the best country. It's because, first of all, it's so huge. And you gonna find tons of different opportunities. And I'm really grateful of that, that I got the opportunity to be in US, study in US and work in US because, uh, most of the people, so this is something really unique about Texas. People are so kind, people are so sweet, and they're really friendly. I mean, it's kind of different than East Coast. Uh, People in East Coast are absolutely nice, but people in Texas are in a really different level of sweetness. They're so kind. I really appreciate that. So that's something that I really appreciate. Sweet people. A lot of good job opportunities. And if you start working in US in like 2 or 3 years, after that you will be in a really good position. Basically, you can literally work in like really good sized companies. You can earn a lot. If you are planning to have your own business, that's your dream country because it's kind of really straightforward to set up a business. I mean, it's not easy. It just is straightforward. It gives you like tons of different opportunity to have your own business. So I would say if someone is really interested into working a lot and like making a lot of money, US is the best country. Just a heads up, if you are planning to US, you have to work a lot. Okay, just be ready for that. Some people are like, okay, we want to move to US, but we don't want to work. We just want to chill. No, you're never gonna work. You have to work. You have to be productive, and at the end of the day, you will get paid off.
I believe one of the most important thing about US is just more close to ideal definition of merit-based country. Based on the effort you put in, you will get your results and rewards. And I believe this is the most important thing, at least for me, to be in a country
Yeah,
that I'm trying hard and I'm getting a lot as an output. And I really love it. So my
yeah,
next word is dating in the US.
sure. Yeah. I dated several times in US, and they were all really
Is it
fine.
easy? Is it easy to find people that you like? Is it easy to communicate, to contact?
Well, yeah. I mean, it really depends. It really depends on what you're looking for. Like, I know some Iranians are like kind of really specific to dating Iranians, but I was kind of okay to dating with like different people. And probably that helped me a lot to make it easier for myself. And I did it several times during the last 2 years. Um, I did it with like different people and different races. And I like all of them, to be honest with you. They're all really, they have their own advantages and disadvantages. But I would say it really depends on what you are looking for. If you are looking for just like a casual relationship or like just hanging out with someone, yeah, you most probably can find someone just to, I don't know, hang out with her. But if you're looking for a serious relationship, um, I don't know, maybe that's kind of tough to do that because, first of all, I'm talking about my own perspective. I just moved to US, so I'm still struggling to settle down my own life. So I most probably, uh, need to spend a lot of time to settling my life down. So till now, I didn't have any serious relationships in US. I just dated some like a really casual relationship, something like that in US. But that was fun. I mean, mainly when you are a student, you're never gonna have enough time to like have a serious relationship, right? Because you have to spend a lot of time working and studying. So I would say, but I believe there are some dating apps that are for like really serious relationships. So I would say if someone is looking, I don't know, for maybe marriage or something, they probably can use those apps to find someone. But I would say if you want to just, I don't know, find some friends, have a casual relations with someone, I don't know, have some fun. Probably it's not that complicated. Just, I don't know, be nice, upload nice photos when you're working, when you're with family, when you have some fun. I don't know if you have a dog, post a photo of your dog. I don't know, just to be, try to be cool and respectful. And that way you probably can someone to date with. But as I said, having like a serious relationship needs to be, it basically, you should be well prepared for that. You should be committed to that serious relationship. So personally, in US, I never had any serious relationships because I don't know, maybe I didn't have time for that. I had friends who used to hang out, but I mean, I never had a serious relationship. So it was not bad though. I mean, I was just concentrating on something else, but
Yeah,
that was
I
fun.
think one of the challenges that you come up when you come into the US is just the type of the communication that can happen. If you're planning to date someone, you have a lot of different options. For example, for more internationals, I believe they prefer to be on kind of applications, dating apps, just make it their personal profile, and which is easier. You don't have kind of language barrier that much. You can just get connected with people by texting, and there is no pressure, honestly, at the
Yeah.
start point. And you can just get to know the person, and when you felt, yeah, this is the person I think we can just move forward, and then you can make a plan to meet. But on the other side, I believe in kind of real life and kind of in person type of communication and approaching and finding friends, especially for dating purpose. It's a little bit hard and challenging and tricky because the people who come to the US as international students, they usually stick with their own races and their own country because it is more comfortable. It's easy for us to stay in our comfort zone, right? It's
Hmm.
hard when you're in a coffee shop and you like a little boy. You just go and talk and say, "Yeah, hey, how are you? How's your day going? I like you. Can we start conversation? Can we talk a little bit?" And this is based on my experience that I see people around myself. It is really hard and challenging for people to start this type of conversations. So I think, as majority of students and internationals do, dating apps are on the kind of top priority for people to start their dating
Yeah.
life.
I would say having an icebreaker when you want to approach someone in basically different locations, uh, requires a high level of confidence. And it is not just about, the language barrier, but it's more like about the confident and being confident to talk to someone. I mean, and also, I don't know, maybe having time or something like that because, okay, you're going to a bar and you're like, okay, even if I start talking to someone, do I have enough time to maintain the relationship? And sometimes you're like, okay, I don't have any confidence to like spend time on that. Yeah, that's something that we have to consider. But I would say, dating apps might be way easier because you just text someone and after a while you're like, and after a few days you could be like, hey, we can go on a date. I don't know, maybe I can pick you up and we can go somewhere together. And most of them they're okay. I mean, they're kind of down to like dating with you, but to maintaining that relationship is so hard because sometimes they don't want to continue with you, or like I don't know. because I dated sometime and we ended up not to seeing each other anymore after like first date or like after a couple of dates, and that happened to me a lot. Like we ended up not to seeing each other or like not even talking to each other. I mean, no struggles, no issues, nothing. We just noticed that okay, we are not a good match. As I said, you can find some friends, but if you want to have a serious relationship, probably that's kind of tough. But I would say if you have a good level of confidence to approach someone, in I don't know, maybe cafes, bars, restaurant, like whatever, that would be a very good approach. It just, it just makes everything easier than just spending hours and hours texting someone and after that going on a date. You try to save your time all the time, right? So if you approach someone and like talk to her for like a couple of minutes and after that you're like, hey, I kind of like your vibe. I'd like to, I don't know, take you someday for coffee or like a dinner. If you're down, let me know. We can just have our phone information switch. So that's, I would say, is the optimal option, not the easier option, the optimal option. But the easier option is just using dating app. But that takes a lot of time because you have to text. And sometimes texting is overwhelming to me because I don't know, you got like couple of match and you don't have enough time to text them. Sometimes you ghost them, sometimes they ghost you. So I would say dating apps to some extent are overwhelming because after a while you don't feel energetic anymore to respond them back, or like they don't feel energetic to respond you back, and you feel bad about that. So I would say maybe increasing the level of confidence and approaching in like cafes, bars, like whatever is the best option. I mean, most optimal option.
I agree. Yeah, I personally prefer in-person type, but yeah, dating apps also has its own fans. By the way.
Yeah, and as I said, here people love short discussions. So don't be like, I cannot go and talk to her. So if someone has a boyfriend or something, their very first sentence is, oh, thank you, but I have a boyfriend. And that's a really respectful communications. And you have to try to respect that. If someone is trying to show that, hey, I'm kind of committed to someone, just try to respect that and back up. But if you think that you are moving forward with a conversation, you can probably ask for her phone number, maybe ask her to take her out for a coffee or dinner. And I would say increase your level of confidence and approach directly.
Yeah, it's not a strange thing, right? You see someone
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
you
It's
feel
common.
good.
It's common.
I don't know. You're just going forward and saying hi. I sometimes I don't know. Maybe it's good to be straightforward, and sometimes it's not
Yeah,
good. You just say hi and how are you doing? Just random question, and the conversation gonna just start, right? You don't have
yeah,
to be
yeah,
really in specific way or really complicated. Have a specific formula for starting some conversation with someone. It's just normal thing here. People when are in the line of coffee shop or something, they're just talking. It's kind of normal thing in the U.S. And you can just
yeah,
talk, and if
yeah,
you get the vibe and kind of click happens between you and the person who you're talking, you can, as you say, move forward and request for more. Can I get your social media ID or something, and can we meet for coffee, or can we hang out here even? Sometimes people just coming to talk, and we have a
yeah,
lot of I've seen a lot of new things which I haven't seen before coming to the US. And here people go into coffee shop, they take their laptops and I don't know the resources they have, and they study in the coffee shop, ordering coffee, sitting behind their chair and just doing their research, and also
hmm,
having interest in conversations. And you just
yeah,
ask some random questions about research, or what kind of research you're doing, what kind of project are you a student, are you doing job, what kind of person you are, just are you from Texas. uh,
yeah,
that's easy questions that is kind of icebreaker, as you said. And by this just random questions, you can feel how the person feels about your approach. And if they're not
yeah,
interested, they can say, okay, yeah, how are you? I'm busy. I'm doing research, and I have to finish this by this time. I have deadline. I'm under pressure, and it means that yeah, I like the way you approach, but I'm really busy. I'm sorry, I
Yeah,
have to
yeah,
stick with my research and projects. It is just
sure.
a really normal thing. You shouldn't get a lot of stress. Like, oh, I'm going to talk to this girl. What should happen to me?
Yeah,
It's just a normal thing, and
right.
just be a little bit
I
like
agree.
confident in yourself, have self confidence, and go and show your interest if
Yeah,
you like
and
someone.
sometimes they start a communication with you. Like for example, I went to New Orleans last week, and I had a T-shirt saying Phillies on. So Phillies is the base. Um, yeah, yeah, Phillies is the baseball team in Philadelphia. So I was walking on the street having the Phillies t-shirt on, and two random girls just approached me and they were like, "Oh, you're coming from Philadelphia?" And I was like, "Yeah, I was just studying there for like 2 years." And they were like, "Okay, how do you like that? We are from that specific part of Philadelphia." And we had for like, I don't know, like a couple of minutes in discussions. But personally, I was not at a good position to like expand my connections with them or like asking for like their social media or whatever because I was just traveling to New Orleans. I was not staying there. So sometimes they approach you and you can continue your discussion. I don't know. You can be like, "Hey, I really like your voice. Can I have your like contact information or like whatever?" So yeah, I would say although short discussion maybe leads to, I don't know, seeing someone, talking to someone. So don't freak out if you really like someone. If you kind of like how someone is vibing you, just go and reach out. At the worst scenario, they can say no. But just a heads up, try to be respectful. Don't use cheesy, naughty pickup lines. I personally don't like that because sometimes people get offended by those things, and I personally don't appreciate that. So just be really respectful. Yeah, you can crack some jokes or like be funny, but try to respect. Yeah, that's a huge heads up for all those boys and girls who are trying to start conversation with someone.
Yeah, and the other thing I've seen it different in the US is just when you see new people. For example, you're in a coffee shop and you're just ordering your coffee, and everyone's seeing you smiling. Everyone is happy, kinda, right? And it gives you a
Yeah,
really good feeling. And it's honestly, it's just easy to start a conversation with a person who will smile at you or who are really happy and in a good mood. And you you're feeling really good when you're putting yourself in these kind of places. And I've never seen someone sad or kind of angry or in this kind of moods so far that I've experienced
yeah,
in kind of hours and hours in coffee shops and different libraries. And that's really one of the great thing I've seen in the US. And I think it makes our kind of work easier to approach and show our interest if
sure.
we like someone.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. I believe so. Just take it easy. Take it easy, increase your level of confidence, and be respectful.
and don't scare of fail. If they reject you, nothing gonna
Yeah,
happen. No one. I'm telling this to a lot of friends who are internationals. I'm telling, imagine you're in a coffee shop and you're approaching a girl. Who knows you? No one. And if you fail,
yeah,
nothing gonna happen. It's just something between you and the girl. And this is kind of normal thing for the girls or boys or the person who you approach to. And it's just something between you and the cultures accept that. The culture that people have in the US. That's the way of just showing interest. You're not doing something wrong. And in case if you're stressed out about it, no one gonna know it. It's just something between you and the person that you approached. And you're kind of um, in the worst case, you're not. If you're not American and you don't have a lot of friends, for example, in Dallas that I'm living, there is no concern even. No one gonna know about it. It's just kind of
yeah. I
secret
mean,
that you
yeah,
did you
that's
approached.
that's that's kind of common, and I would say that's not bad at all. Even if someone said yes, or like even if they know you somehow or from college or like whatever, that's okay. I mean,
Okay,
it's kind of
completely. It's okay.
accepted.
It's not.
Yeah,
Yes, it's kind of not a red flag act or something that you can scare
yeah,
of.
that's absolutely okay. No. I cannot see any problems with that. So
Yeah, nothing wrong. Okay, Brad, you've lived in three states so far: Pennsylvania,
yeah,
Arizona, Texas. Can you tell? We talked about a lot of about a lot of good stuff in the U.S. So can you tell one kind of, I don't know, challenging or bad characteristic or feature about each of the states? For example, in Arizona, what was really kind of not
the
good that you
thing,
experienced?
yeah, I think, yeah, I understood what you said. So one thing that was kind of bothering for me when I was in Arizona was extreme heat. Um, because it went up to 119 during summertime, and it was so hot. Even if you walk during the nighttime, like 12 a.m. or like 1 a.m. on the streets, in the streets, it's still hot, and you cannot tolerate that. So that's something that was kind of bothering for me. And but out of that, people are so nice. They're welcoming. Really beautiful landscape because Grand Canyon is there, Sedona is there. There are like a bunch of different natural attractions that you can travel to and like hang out with friends or family. And I would say that I really enjoyed because I traveled to Grand Canyon, Williams, Flagstaff, Sedona. I basically traveled a lot when I was in Arizona, and I had a colleague. He was so nice. He was so sweet. And we used to go for traveling, hiking all the time. He was so welcoming. Once I made some sort of Asian food payment for him, he kind of liked that. And, but I would say something that kind of bothered me was extreme heat. But out of that, everything was so nice. I do like most of the things of Pennsylvania, to be honest with you. I mean, um, I like Pennsylvania because it's so green, like so green, and it has a really beautiful landscape and nature, and you can find really interesting jungles, parks, or like whatever you can find. Uh, but in terms of something that I don't appreciate in general about the East Coast is you can smell it almost everywhere, and I personally don't like that. So, that's not a big deal. That's not a big deal. People are free to smoke because it's kind of legal, right? So I respect that, but that was kind of bothering for me to some extent. I mean, if you use public transportation, you can smell the weed almost everywhere, which is kind of annoying for me. But it's legal. People are free to do whatever they want to. I mean, that was not a huge deal for me as well, but that's the only thing that was my concern about that.
How about Texas?
But something that I noticed is people in Texas don't smoke a lot of weed. It's not
We
that
don't,
common at home.
because I think it's not legal to smoke in public.
Yeah, but I feel like in New Jersey and New York is legal, so people are smoking a lot in that
You
side
you
of the
usually
U.S.
you usually smell weed in Texas in the weekends, usually,
Oh,
but in
okay.
weekdays it's not happening that much, honestly, based on my experience.
Yeah, I mean, in East Coast it happens a lot. Like in different
Yeah,
apartments, if you're using like the elevator or like staircases, you can see that people are smoking. You can smell the weed. So I mean, that's okay. I mean, the only concern of mine is I have asthma. So to some extent, it was kind of bothering for me. That's why, I mean, it was not terribly bad, but that's a bad point, I would say about that.
how was Texas so far?
Oh, so far so good. So the thing that I really appreciate about Texas is people are so friendly and welcoming. They're so sweet. Like, I didn't expect that, to be honest with you, because um, um, I don't know, but that was something that I really appreciate, that people are so sweet. It's still hot, but it's not as hot as Arizona is. And because I have migraine, extreme heat is a huge challenge for me because I'm gonna have really crazy headaches because of the extreme heat. But to be honest with you, I just had headache just one time in Texas. And when I was in Arizona, I used to have headache like once a week or like twice a month, because of the extreme heat. But here is not bad. I mean, it's summertime, so we have to expect that. What other things I like about Texas is there are I mean, not two, but like four very huge cities in Texas. And if you want to settle down your life in either of those cities, each of them offer you really good things. Like it's Dallas, it is Houston, it is Austin, it is San Antonio. Those four cities are so huge, and those are one of those biggest cities in US, I believe. So even if you don't like the vibe of one of those cities, you can easily just move to the other city. Because I heard, like, for example, Austin, they have a really good nightlife. Unfortunately, I still didn't have the chance to travel to Austin to try that, but that's what I heard about it. So I would say, and more than that, it's a tax-free state. So if you are earning, you're never gonna have taxes there. Um, that makes some differences in the money that you have in your hand. So that's the other thing that I appreciate about Texas. And what else? It's a beautiful state, I would say. Um, Unfortunately, I've never had a chance to travel to Dallas, but I'm planning to visit it anytime soon. So I
Yeah,
would say you guys have
definitely let me know. I'm in Dallas, so I would love to meet you in person.
sure. Absolutely. I love to give visit to my Persian friends. And yeah, those are the things that I really appreciate in Texas. And Texas is one of the states that has a growing population. So if you are expecting a city to live in with a good amount of population growth, and if you're expecting like, I don't know, to settle down a new business, I would say Texas is potentially a very good state because population is growing, so you can expect you can have like expand your business basically. So yeah,
That's so true. Okay, Brad, it was great talking to you. I have one more question left, and
sure.
the question is, any regrets? And if you're back, I don't know, to 2, 3 years ago, before your immigration to the US, what would you change? Is there anything?
So it's not a huge thing to be honest with you, but there are some skills that I would like to learn before moving to US. And those skills definitely help for all those people and students to get better jobs. I mean, I didn't have enough time to learn those skills when I was in the US, working as a research assistant and being a full-time student. So I would say gaining some more skills would be definitely helpful for me and
Can
for
you
all
give
those.
example? Can you give example for the skills you're talking about?
Yeah. So like personally, I noticed that people use Adobe products a lot, at least in my field. Like for example, when I was in Iran, people used to use Adobe Photoshop most of the time, but here people use Adobe Photoshop, Adobe InDesign, Adobe Illustrator, all those softwares basically. And to be honest, I didn't really have a chance to learn Adobe InDesign and Adobe Illustrator. I have some skills, but not sufficient at all. So I would say if you want to get a job in US, I mean, at least in my field, which is architectural design, people care a lot about like having Adobe skills. And there's a huge difference. Like, for example, in Iran, we use different type of software for presentations, which is like chaos products. but here in US, people barely use chaos products. So that's a suggestion for like all those international students. If you're planning to move to US, do a really good investigations of what type of skills you will be need you will need to get a job after graduation. So that's something that you really have to research before moving to US because imagine that you are moving to a new country, you have to settle down your new life, you have to work, you have to study. So you basically won't have enough time to like spend a lot of time to gain new skills. But I remember when I was in Iran, I had a lot of time. I could learn new skills rather than just wasting my time. I don't know, hanging out around with friends. I could spend more time to learn more skills. That's the only regret that I have. But for most of the things, I feel like it was fine with me because I graduated in 2020. I mean 2020. I worked for almost like 1 year and a half to gain some experience, and after that, I moved to US by 2022. Um, and I feel like I had a good balance of uh, experience and academic journey. So the only thing that I was kind of short is having some skills because I feel like, when I was in school, all my uh, other students used to work with those type of Adobe softwares like Adobe Illustrator and Adobe InDesign, and I was using Adobe Photoshop like all the time because I didn't have that much knowledge about that. But I was working so hard to gain this during the first year. So I would say do a good research, understand what type of skills you need, and try to gain those skills.
Thank you. That was great advice. And thank you
Sure.
again, Brett, for being with us today and for your time. I
Thank you.
appreciate it.
Thank you for having
And
me.
yeah, and I hope everyone enjoyed the conversation and be informative enough to give them a little bit hints about how is life and academic and industry in the US. And stick with us and like
Sure.
and subscribe YouTube channel and wait for the future videos coming out. And take care and see you all soon. Bye.
See y'all. Have a good day. Bye bye.